Hi there, my name is Adele. I'm the founder of Naked.Recovery. So one of the things we really help a lot of clients with is to overcome anxiety. And we have a special program to support people in recovering from anxiety in about 3 months. So in the program, there's a particular element that we cover that I think is quite useful to do in a video like this, as it's something that you can kind of work on separately if you suffer from anxiety at home. So first things first is from a cognitive perspective is to really understand how emotions arise within the body. So if you think of it like a formula, an emotion equals a thought plus some kind of visceral sensation or state within the body. And actually the timing of the elements is that you first get the visceral sensation and that is then accompanied by a thought. Sometimes we've got that wrong in psychology where we think it's the thought that comes first. It's actually not the case. From a polyvagal theory perspective, it's actually the sensation that arises first. So if you understand that the equation is emotion equals thought plus some kind of visceral sensation or state, you need to understand that by shifting any of those components, you potentially shift the emotion as well. But there's another element that you need to think about. From an anxiety perspective, we also have something called an action urge. And an action urge means that we have the visceral sensation or state within our body, we have this negative thought, and it is accompanied by some kind of urge or to take action. It's an action urge. And often that action urge is something that is negative. It is something like a coping mechanism or some kind of covering mechanism or some kind of avoidance mechanism. Now, when we have anxiety, the problem is the accumulation of those depressive avoidance strategies and anxious avoidance strategies. Sometimes they can become overwhelming in life. So, for example, a client that we have who suffers from social anxiety, it accumulates. He has this moment of like, well, I want to go to a bar. And then there's, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the bar. There's going to be all these people there. I don't know these people. I might bump into somebody and not know what to say. I might need to go to the bathroom and line up in the queue, and I don't want to line up in a queue. I don't know where the bathroom is. What happens if the drinks are too expensive? What happens if I don't know what the cost of the restaurant bill is going to be? And so on and so forth. What's happening is he's uncomfortable within his body. And when we're uncomfortable in our body, negative thoughts arise. The negative thought leads to an action urge, which is, I need to get out of this bar right away. Okay? Or I'm going to stand here and have some kind of panic attack, or I'm going to start feeling really, really queasy and full of bad sensation. So in that moment of being anxious, you're basically having an accumulation of action urges and you're braced for the most catastrophic version of your thinking. You're almost braced for trauma. To calm all these different elements down, you need to realize that ultimately anxiety is because we want to leave that emotional and physical state within the body. We want to escape this negative emotion through these action urges where we're avoiding something. To actually overcome anxiety, you need to sit inside your body. You need to observe the emotion. You need to observe the thoughts, and you need to note them and write them down. When you can effectively observe all these sensations happening within your body and actually say, right, this is the physical sensation that I have. I'm feeling queasy, my palms are sweating, I can notice my breath is a bit more rapid, I'm feeling very uncomfortable and jittery within my body, my throat is starting to close, my chest is feeling very, very tight. All these physical sensations are present. And I note that and I write that down. Next, I note my thinking. My thinking is very catastrophic. Goodness, I've gone from this situation over here all the way leapfrog to worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is it's going to be a disaster. The terriblest thing is going to happen. The bar is going to burn down. I'm not going to be able to escape from the bar. Claustrophobic. Terrible. Okay, so we always, in an anxious state, we've moved to the most catastrophic thinking. Again, notice the thought and write it down. And finally, the action urge. What is that urge that you want to take action in the direction of? I want to get away. I want to run. I want to escape. I want to go to the bathroom and get out the window. Note again the action urge. If you successfully do these kinds of experiments where instead of escaping and immediately just surrendering to your anxiety, you actually pause, notice all these things that are happening within the equation, write them down, and sit with them. What you will notice is that none of these emotions or physical sensations in individual components last for longer than 27 minutes. And this has actually been scientifically demonstrated across several studies. So what happens is we're bailing too quickly because we start to feel this uncomfortable sensation and we leg it. But actually just by sitting in that uncomfortable sensation, resisting the temptation to go for that action urge, we have overcome our anxiety in that moment. Now, in the early days when therapists used to treat anxiety, we used to accompany our clients along on their scary experiences, go and stand on a big bridge to help them face their vertigo, or go into a bar with them, and we would teach them these self-regulation skills. So we would be regulating ourselves and we would teach them how to self-regulate. This kind of exposure type therapy was very effective at the time. But now in today's society, when we're working more remotely, we want to be able to empower people to do this themselves. So you have to learn this type of self-regulation activity by cycling yourself through the senses, noting, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What are my action urges? What are these physical sensations within my body? Maybe just note them, maybe just write them down, and then just stay here. Don't move, just wait. Interesting. It's shifted. The emotion has shifted. The sensation has shifted. By me actually just sitting here, acknowledging it and not doing anything, I have just resisted the action urge and I've just self-regulated. Every time you self-regulate and you resist an action urge, you are starting to really overcome your anxiety. And this practice as well, by kind of being present to our emotions, it's a branch of mindfulness as well. And in mindfulness, we can, another technique is you cycle through the senses. So as opposed to just observing your thoughts, your sensations, your action urges, and, all those kind of, accompanying physical emotions that you actually have within your body, you're observing, what am I seeing? We've got the wall is gray. I'm noticing the shininess of the bar. I'm noticing there's a woman over there. She's got an interesting coat on. That's very interesting. Kind of zoom into the physical modality. Then you zoom into, what am I hearing? You cycling through, what am I hearing? I'm hearing these sounds, the clinking of glasses. What am I feeling? I'm feeling under my fingers, I'm feeling the cold glass. I'm feeling the bar. I'm touching the chair. By actually getting ourselves into the present reality, cycling through the senses like that in a mindful way, or cycling through our own thoughts, action urges, sensations, and emotions, and we're resisting the temptation to just leg it and run, you're starting to really overcome your anxiety, okay? So this is a tip for you to practice at any stage. Let us know how you get on. There are 17 other methods to regulate your emotions and to actually overcome your anxiety. We have a program that deals with all that, but this is definitely something that you can try at home. Till next time, cheers.